Behold the Runza. Oh, there we go. It's like fresh baked bread and like an egg roll inside. It is hot. And it is tasty.
John Eats Cheap with another regional favorite today. When we were on our road trip last year, we had something called a Runza in the middle of Nebraska. These are huge in Nebraska. I'd had them once before and they were really good, but we stopped at what they call the Runza Hut and tried a Runza. It's fresh baked bread that's stuffed with a beef cabbage mixture. Almost kind of like an egg roll consistency, but it's in bread and different seasonings. So I'm gonna make that today with John Eats Cheap. Ground beef, shredded cabbage, just coleslaw mix, diced a couple of onions, our seasoning mix, 2 teaspoons of seasoned salt, a teaspoon of pepper, a teaspoon of garlic powder, and that's it. For the bread, you can make your own dough. That's what I'm doing today because I want to try out a new homemade bread dough that I'm going to try as rolls as well. You could use frozen bread dough. You could use the frozen rolls, Rhodes rolls, something like that, but we'll show you how to put them together. Runzas, regional favorite for Nebraska with John Eats Cheap. So we start out by browning the 2 pounds of ground beef and add the 2 medium diced onions. We'll brown that all together. So our ground beef is browned. As you can see, I drained the fat off of it. Looks like a lot of fat, but that was 2 pounds of ground beef. So now is when we add our seasonings. 2 teaspoons of seasoned salt, a teaspoon each of garlic powder and black pepper. And our slaw mix. Supposed to use about 4.5 cups of chopped cabbage, julienne cabbage. I'm just doing the slaw mix because that's a lot easier. So try and get that in there, get it to wilt down a little bit. I could cover it, that would wilt it real quick. Maybe I'll do that. If I can get it all in there. Slaw mix is in, and I am going to cover it. So there we go. See, so I'm going to put the lid on. That'll wilt it down. Now I do. Mrs. Cheap reminded me, you always yell at people on cooking shows for using too small of pans. I wanted to use a shorter pan so that you could see how it gets done. You know what I mean? Yeah, sure. All right. My bad. We're making progress. It's wilting. But next time I will use a bigger vessel. I'm just going to get this till it's completely wilted, a good mix on it, and we'll let it cool down. There we go, there's our Runza filling. Now I did a little taste test and I'm going to add a little more seasoned salt, which I thought it seemed undersalted to start with, and a little more pepper. Mix that up a little bit, and then we can turn off the heat. We're going to drain this just to get all any fat that was left over from the burger, and cabbage has got some water in it, anything that didn't cook down. Because we're putting it inside bread, we don't want any liquid in there. Unless it's cheese, but not on a Runza. So now we'll drain our Runza filling. And I'm just draining it into the bowl that I had the bread dough rising in. Don't want to do it right down the drain. I know we used to, when I was a kid, you always just, you bought the 73, I'll say mom and dad bought the 73% lean hamburger and you just cook it up and then strain it down the drain. Yeah, not good. So I'm just going into the bowl here. Then you can let it cool and throw it in a Ziploc and put it in the garbage. And not have to make a call to the plumber. There we go. Now I like pushing that down. Not only do you get more liquid out, but it kind of crumbles up the burger a little more, and that's more like a Runza. You can see I got my Runza dough all lined up. 6. The dough recipe I did, it was for 12. The meat is for 12. I'm only making 6, so we'll have a pound of meat left over next time I make the dough. You know how that works. and it'll freeze great. It'll freeze great. So we're just gonna let this cool. You don't have to, but I'm just doing it so I can handle it easier. Don't want to burn the hands, you know. These are important. So let's fill some Runzas. There's our little dough, and we just need to flatten this out about 6 inches. Like that. Well, that's a little more than 6, but that's okay. You want it to be a little bit thick yet. And spoon the filling inside. It says 3/4 of a cup. That's a lot of filling. But, you know, you don't want a wimpy Runza either, right? I'm gonna say that's probably about right. And then you're just gonna fold it. Try and get it all folded together and pinched. A little thin there. Hey, this is my first one. So this one isn't gonna be a beauty. But we'll try and get it all wrapped up here. Runs it up. Yeah, this one isn't gonna be pretty. But that's okay. Well, it kind of looks like a chicken there, doesn't it? Like a, got the wings folded under. All right. Okay, try another one here. Now the expert, the president of the Runza company, I found a video that he did, says you're not supposed to stretch the dough because you want it to be evenly, you don't want thin spots. So we'll try that. Maybe a little less filling. That doesn't look like less filling, but just try and fold it and get it pinched. That one might be a little bit better. Hey, I think I'm getting the hang of this. Even it up, fold it over. All right. I am a Runza making machine. Nice. That one's this. Oh, maybe Dewey the dog would get that. Oh, nope, there's onions in it. Dewey can't have any. All right, coming together nicely. And kind of like in Ace Ventura and Ray Finkel the kicker, laces out, it's always seam side down. There we go. And there we go. 5 beautiful Runzas and 1, I still can't believe that doesn't, I don't know why it looks so bad, but who cares? It'll taste good. And we got lots of filling left over that we can freeze and use whenever we want. Let's get them in the oven. 350 for 15 to 18 minutes or until golden brown. As you said, I'm testing some other stuff with the bread dough, some rolls and buns. We'll get these in here. When they're golden brown, we'll pull them out and brush them with a little butter and then eat a Runza. Oh, does that smell good? And those look tasty. They look like Runzas. So we're gonna brush with a little melted butter just on the top. Oh, these are gonna be good. Yum. Oh, except that one. Still looks like a chicken, doesn't it? Looks like a chicken on its laying on its front.
The one next to it looks like a crab.
This one does a little bit, doesn't it? That's what you can do. Runza animals with John Eats Cheap. We got a crab, we got, I don't know, an eel.
No, that one's a corgi.
Yeah, it does look a little corgi-ish, doesn't it? All right, I'm just let these cool just for a little bit because I don't want to bite in and burn my mouth. Only a minute though. There's the Runza, and the dough is soft like it's supposed to be. Okay, remember what the one we had from Runza Hut in Nebraska looked like in the middle. So now I'm gonna cut this one open. Oh, that's soft and pillowy. Look at that. That looks pretty good to me. I hope it tastes good. Fresh baked Runza. In fact, this one, see, it might be a little bready on the side, so I need to work on that. Just my rolling technique. But this was the first time. And is there ever really too much bread? Bread's a good thing. Very good. Nebraska regional favorite, the Runza. Not the easiest thing to make homemade. Maybe just go to Nebraska and buy a bunch and freeze them. That might be easier. But this is homemade and much cheaper. Just as tasty with John Eats Cheap. Any regional food suggestions, get them to us. John Eats Cheap. Thanks for watching. To quote Columbo, one more thing. Actually, a couple. After thinking about it, I think I would like a little more seasoning, a little more pepper, seasoned salt, a little more garlic. So I would up the seasoning just a little bit. My rolling technique obviously needs some help because there's some really thick bready areas. So you want to try and make it really consistent. I'm going to have to watch the video of how to roll them again. I think he kind of made them thin all the way around and then shaped them more in the form. So that's what I need to do. What was the other thing, Mrs. Cheap? Something else?
We'll link to the bread recipe.
Oh yeah, we'll link to the bread dough recipe because it is a very good bread dough. So I can't wait to try the buns and the rolls that I got going too. But yeah, send me your ideas, regional favorites. Yay for the Runza.